Alright, I know this topic has been heavily covered by so many people and has their concerns in a twirl, with so much fear-mongering and worry all over the platform. And you know what, I was considering making a small skit about the FTC like I did for Article 13, but I feel like this time we need to have a talk, a serious talk. For context on what's going on, YouTube and Google have been sued by the FTC for collecting data on children without the consent of parents. And the reason why they would collect that data is so they could target kids with personalized ads on disgusting channels like Elsa and Spider-Man or whatever creepy crap. And YouTube was getting away with breaking that law for years. And believe me, I know you've probably heard that so many times by now. But let's just get through it so you understand where I'm coming from later in the video. So they had to step in because YouTube was not willing to change that, because family-friendly channels were bringing in a lot of ad revenue because they were much safer to put ads on. But now that may not be the case anymore. And because of that, what's happening is that you either have to now pick wherever your content is intended for kids or not, or for YouTube to review your content to determine whether it's for kids or not. Now this is where I'm fucking laughing, because this is the most ridiculous fucking shit I have ever seen. Now before we continue, I am 100% in support of child protection online. Even my past videos advocate child protection online, and that parents need to take better responsibility of their kid and not have a social media conglomerate do the babysitting for them. Same goes for the content creators on it, or at least educate them about it. Not to mention the amount of scandals that have happened with YouTube. Something like this was gonna happen. But overall, it is not the creator's responsibility or the website to watch out for kids. It is the parents' responsibility. And if they're not doing that and looking for something to blame, that is called irresponsibility. Laws can only go so far to protect a kid. As a parent, it is your job to make the people who make those laws' lives easier. That's why YouTube Kids is a thing. When you go on YouTube Kids to sign up, it literally is pro-parent. Well, it's not only easy to set up for a parent, but they have full control of what their kid watches on the app. But because of the whole FTC and Coppa thing, that might now put YouTube Kids at risk.
Doesn't matter whether the content is in YouTube Kids, on youtube.com or youtubekids.com or the YouTube general audience website. If it's child directed and YouTube has actual knowledge, then it is then they are going to be liable under Coppa.
So now YouTube is making videos like this, acting as if they have a tail between their legs, saying, "Not sure if your videos are labeled for kids, get a lawyer."
Ultimately, we can't provide legal advice, so we're unable to confirm whether or not your content is made for kids. That decision is up to you, taking into consideration these factors. But we want to help you follow the law as much as we can. Check out our help center and talk to a lawyer if you're still unsure whether or not your content should be marked as made for kids.
Which I will get into in a bit. Now the problem is that anything can be intended for kids. According to the FTC, that is. I mean, look at this mess. Sports and cartoon characters. Okay, FTC, what sports appeal to kids? Fucking boxing. Speaking of violence, is fucking Tom and Jerry for kids, where they're beating the shit out of each other with fucking mallets, running around chasing each other with fucking guns and knives and getting full fucking roided up and screaming in pain. Looney Tunes, a cartoon notorious for subtle adult jokes that kids won't understand until they get older. Even references of alcohol and smoking are squeezed in there. Shit that's normally advertised to adults. Now the same boomer autistic spastic rules that they call a law, an outdated one of that, are right here on YouTube. So let's have a look at them. The subject matter of the video. Example, educational content for preschoolers. Well, we already covered that one. Whenever kids are your intended or actual audience of the video. I'm sorry, what? How the hell is that possible to implement? The entire audience of fucking YouTube is filled with kids. If a kid stumbles or subscribes to my channel because they found something engaging or flashy, as well as maybe someone else's channel, I have no control over that. And this regulation makes no difference because kids smarten up and find a way around loopholes. Christ! Also, before we continue going down the list, let's talk about what happens when you mark your channel as made for kids. Take it away, TubeU.
Starting in January, if you mark a specific video as made for kids, features like comments, personalized advertising, info cards, end screens, and more won't be available on individual videos. If your entire channel is set as made for kids, your videos won't have any of those features. Your channel also won't have stories, the community tab, the notification bell, and your viewers won't be able to save to watch later or save to playlist.
You do realize that removing these types of features is just going to do more harm than good? What the hell is removing the rest of the features gonna accomplish? With that many features taken away from a kid's channel, that's just going to expunge them from the site, completely wiping out and destroying kids' content in a blink of an eye. That's not going to change the fact that kids are still going to be on YouTube just as much regardless. In fact, there's a higher chance now that kids are way more likely to stumble across videos that are definitely checked not for kids. So this stupid rule is literally bringing them straight to us, achieving the exact opposite of what they're trying to accomplish, but now worse. So yeah, good job, lads. Anyone who's familiar with me channel defo knows that it's definitely not directed to kids. So this option will defo be easy for me to pick, I'll be alright. But even I can see that this is the craftsmanship of a moron, with more reasons than one, so stay tuned. Okay, what else? Whenever the video includes child actors or models. Oh my god. Is Home Alone only exclusive to kids instead of for everybody? I thought that was a wholesome Christmas movie that a family can enjoy. Whenever the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, included animated characters or cartoon figures. Oh my god, what celeb appeals to kids? I thought they appeal to everyone. What are they talking about? Wherever the language of a video is intended for children to understand. What the hell does that even mean? You mean English? You know, a language that most children understand? You see what I mean? That's so vague. Oh, I ain't gonna wheelie about. Here's some more specifics on what they're on and what they're on about. A kid's site may be identified by such language as kids only, fun, free stuff, whatever, cool, duh, games, ask your parents, etc. Oh, you know what? This is starting to do me head in now. You know what it's like for me to read this and this? I'll tell you what it's like for me to read this and this. Imagine if a comedian came up to me and asked my opinion about his written material, and that written material is what I'm reading to you now. I turn around and say to him, these are the best fucking jokes I have ever read. You're going places. Anyway, moving on to another reason why people are concerned about this, is what are the consequences of marking your videos not for kids if the FTC or YouTube's machine learning say otherwise? To cut to the chase, the supposed penalty is supposed to be $40,000 per violation for each video. Which you don't need me telling you, everyone is going on about this. With the biggest worry that if YouTube's system or the FTC, based on these rules, detect footage of, let's say, Mario, Zelda, or Pokemon, you know what we've gone over before, if it looks appealing to kids, wherever it's animation or toys like Lego, basically if you tick the colours of the fucking rainbow not for kids, you're getting a fine. Well, at least that's what it is on paper. So this is what has everyone panicking, to the point where it scared them and spooked them that much, where they're making statements about removing their videos, privatizing them, or just outright deleting their channel, out of fear that they might get these alleged fines. And then on the other hand, you have these people saying, you have no idea how serious this is. You need to get a lawyer now. No one is taking this seriously. They have no idea how bad this is. Now, it just so happens, I did contact a lawyer about this whole thing. And I also watched videos about the FTC through a lawyer's perspective. Now, you can take it or leave it from me, but what he told me were some very interesting things that, at least to me, and hopefully for you, on how ridiculous and unrealistic it would be to fine a fucking YouTube video $42,000 each. Now, on paper, if the FTC could get away with fining everyone like that, that would destroy YouTube. It'd be a lawsuit in the trillions. And since it would be one person with a couple of videos out of the thousands, millions, if not billions that do the exact same thing, big or small, adult or should I say kids, you might as well sue the entire human race. The reason why I see this $42,000 for each video policy being ridiculous in the sense of how the fuck is this going to work is because if you were to do that to one person alone, they would be breaking several civil rights laws. There is no way they would get away with suing people with that much, because one of the purposes of civil rights is to protect individuals from things like unfair treatment and infringement from the likes of the government, social organizations. You get the idea. However, they can get away with suing a company like YouTube and Google that shit out this type of money fucking every day. This is nothing to them. But if people label their video not for kids and the FTC is going around going fine, 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 which has people so scared that they're willing to private their videos or delete their fucking channel, don't do that. That would never get through the courts. That would never get through the Supreme Court. They would fucking dismiss it. You're gonna be fine, my G. As long as you don't collect personal information from kids, which is why this is a whole thing to begin with. Other than that, I fail to see how the hell they're going to sue you. Based on what? And even if you do get a fine for collecting data, it is so excessively aggressive. I mean, you get less of a fine if you drive under the influence with a child in your vehicle.
I could drive drunk and put people's lives in danger. And I would have to spend less money on the fine than just pressing the wrong button on YouTube? What is this? It happens to get even worse than that we found out. My username's this posted. A drunk driver can have a kid in their car and still only get fined $10,000. You can see right here. DUI with a child passenger, a child younger than 15 years of age. It is a state-level felony. The maximum fine is $10,000.
Not only that, what if they fine a fucking kid making videos on YouTube who doesn't even know what the hell he's doing and is just doing it just for fun or whatever? And obviously they're gonna lie about their age to have an account. It's easy done. But keep in mind, by YouTube's legal terms of service, you have to be 13 and up to have a YouTube account, because their entire business relies on collecting data for their advertisers.
But here's the thing. YouTube should have won this battle, but then they had to go and screw it all up. You see, technically speaking, YouTube has been Coppa compliant for years. YouTube is a PG-13 platform. I mean, sure, it contains lots of ABC videos, and Ping Fong's Baby Shark has been watched nearly 4 billion times. 4 billion views on that video. Remember when we were all like freaking out that Psy's Gangnam Style crossed the 1 billion mark? I contributed 5 views to Baby Shark this morning, in fact. Just all kids' things gravitate towards it. It's like a gravity well. But regardless of the success of that one very specific song, in order to sign up for an account here, you have to be 13. Do people lie about their age? Sure. But according to YouTube's own terms of service, you have to be 13 to be on this website, specifically because of all of these reasons. YouTube, go figure, is collecting data for its advertisers. That is the whole point of us producing videos here. That's their whole business model. YouTube Kids, that separate website, that separate app, that is supposed to be the place to adhere to all of these rules. On YouTube proper, everything is 13 plus.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? The whole point of this is to protect kids from their data getting collected. But while you're at it, just give them a fucking fine. Because your 5-year-old face is uploaded to YouTube, and according to these rules, that's a no-no. Oh, the irony of these child advocacy groups is astounding.
2018, 20 child advocacy groups filed a complaint in the FCC against YouTube. They complained that YouTube was lying when it said that the platform was for kids 13 years and older. They argue that there were millions upon millions of examples of content on YouTube that was geared directly to kids that were younger than 13 years of age.
You see, this is what I mean. They bitch about something they don't understand / get, and then consequently have the opposite effect that's much worse. You see what I mean by irony? And the fact that they're accusing YouTube of lying about who they allow on the platform is a joke, when in actuality, it's kids lying around this legal requirement, as the game theorist mentioned. While we're on the topic of lying, why isn't there a mixed audience option? You know what? I think I'll let the lawyer explain this one.
Here's the language, and I quote, "Coppa only covers information collected online from children. It does not cover information collected from adults that may pertain to children. Thus, Coppa is not triggered by an adult uploading photos of children on a general audience site or in the non-child directed portion of a mixed audience website." So what does this mean? It means that 4 years ago, the FTC openly recognized that there was a middle ground audience. It just wasn't children's content. It just wasn't adult content. It was content that appealed to both adults and children. YouTube failed to address this general audience in their video marking system. They said that to comply with Coppa, you have to mark your video as either for kids or not. But this isn't true. And as the man said on the phone, YouTube hid from us creators that the FTC has no intent to sue creators over content for a general audience. In other words, the FTC is of the opinion that just because a creator includes kids' themes in their videos, like Pokemon, Fortnite, or board games, just because of this doesn't mean that the creator should lose info cards, end screens, sub notifications, and more importantly, monetization, or be sued.
Now, YouTube have been heavily questioned about this, with their response of, oh, there's complications and we're trying to put this in, so they're acknowledging it. They even made an official response on their YouTube channel, addressing the concerns about if children watch your videos or if animated content is considered for kids, and that they understand that anyone can enjoy those things. So in other words, it's just one big facepalm mess. Why aren't they adding the mixed audience option when it's clearly legal and allowed? The reason being, allegedly, keyword being allegedly, is that it would decrease corporate profits. Which, if this is true, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around that, because wouldn't that increase corporate profits if you've given creators more options to work with? So here's my advice. The best thing you can do, even if you make content for the mixed audience, is just set it to not for kids. I mean, you clearly don't make Baby Shark type videos, do you? And you're not exactly trying to target kids getting their personal information, are you? All you're doing is making content to entertain your subscribers. So what are the FTC gonna do? Fine you for something they clearly allow, where the FTC and YouTube both clearly acknowledge the middle ground for a mixed audience? I mean, they've said it themselves. Which also contradicts what we made fun of earlier, because YouTube hasn't put in a mixed audience option, even though they themselves have said that they have to comply with the law. Now that doesn't seem quite fair now, does it? Punishing you for their incompetence. Can you imagine? The reason why the FTC are making these fearful claims, swinging their cock and balls around at everyone, saying that the creators of the platform are always at risk of getting fined, is because it's fear-mongering and they're trying to control you and bully you through fear. And once you look at it realistically and through the grand scheme of things, And through long term, I don't see this working in their favor.
And other government agencies are known for doing this, are known for sitting in a press conference, going on CNBC, going wherever else they might have the capacity to deliver their message, and saying things that are beyond their statutory ambit to create certain circumstances and an environment in which they are comfortable operating. In this case, they want content creators to be scared. In particular, they want to beat their chests about how successful they were in getting YouTube to bend the knee to them in this settlement as of September 4th.
I mean, for fuck's sake, this law stretches out to 1998. The exact same people that made the laws back then and now don't even use a fucking mobile phone in 2019.
I had a conversation a couple weeks ago with YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, and she told me that sometimes she's trying to explain YouTube to lawmakers who literally don't own a cell phone. People making laws on this stuff don't own cell phones in 2019. I mean, when you read laws like Coppa, I feel like you start to get an idea of what she's dealing with here.
I mean, it really makes you question their competence and their legal compliance. You know, to ensure that they're following relevant laws. Keyword being relevant, not 1998 relevant. This is what happens when you give boomers too much power. Nobody says surf the web anymore, you pair of old fucking boomers. Now, I get that the prosecution would have a case if you were collecting data from kids without the parents' consent, but I fail to see the big deal if you advertise to kids. When advertisement plays a huge part in capitalism that's gone on to build brands and companies for decades. If advertising a toy to kids was the sole reason to put a case together and take it to court, they'd be fucking laughed at. Are bus drivers going to get sued by the FTC because they have advertisements on the side of the bus? Driving through the city promoting an 18 rated game that a lot of kids are going to see? For fuck's sake, when I was a kid, the telly would show fucking ads of SpongeBob and Pokemon or anything that's aimed for kids in between programs, and sometimes shit that was rated 18, like the GTA games, most particularly San Andreas and Twisted Metal Black. Oh, shit that wasn't meant for me 9 to 10-year-old eyes brought me nothing but joy, and great memories were advertised to me on TV. And even if I missed the ads, kids at school the next day would talk about it. And they were like my Minecraft and Fortnite when I was 8 to 9. A teacher of mine literally warned parents about San Andreas, which actually happened, by the way. I'm not making that up. But my parents didn't give a fuck, and you don't see me doing anything illegal. So what the fuck is the difference if they see it online on YouTube? It's because at the end of the day, it's pushed by a dying medium, which is TV. They can't get over it and won't fuck off and let people enjoy the new age of entertainment, which is the internet. What are people saying? Okay, boomer. How about fuck off, boomer? One last thing before I go. Commercially viable, which is another thing that has people flipping out, does not mean YouTube is going to take you down if you're not making enough money. Here is YouTube's reply. Please calm down. Really think about it. You really think YouTube is just going to terminate everybody that can't make money? The platform would be literally shooting itself in the head if it did that. The only issue I had with it was how extremely fucking vague it was, which was the sole reason why so much misinformation was put out there. If it were up to me and I was a lawmaker, I would make it illegal to make laws and rules vague, because they're very easy to misunderstand, making everyone panic, and the fact that you have to research it to get a bit of relief is ridiculous. It should be clear as day. So to end this video on a high note, I'm not paying $42k. They got nothing on me, and you got nothing on anybody else. Your attempt at fear-mongering and using bully tactics don't faze me one bit. They did it first, but then I saw through it. So you can shove the fine up your ass, because if you make the distinction that entertaining people is collecting data from kids, you are not only out of your melon, but fucking psychopaths. And if you are going to chance it and try and worm a lawsuit with your vague laws, Good luck with dealing with other international countries with different laws and having the resources to do so.